everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 90s Tech Talk channel. In today's video, we're going to be finally upgrading this computer. This is my Sony Vaio PCV-120 desktop computer. In my previous video, when I showed off my new desk that I acquired for this computer, my original childhood desk, I had mentioned in this video that I'm going to upgrade this computer. So that's why I'm on the floor right now. I'm going to show you right now what I'm about to do. I'm about to pull this computer out. I have to disconnect it first, and then I have to lay it on its side so I can actually work on it. First, after I get this all disconnected, I want to clean this computer up because I haven't pulled this computer out since I got this desk a year ago. So it needs a little bit of cleaning. Even though it looks pretty clean, it just needs a little bit of dusting. You can already see that I kind of got the panel loose already. It's really easy. There's no screws. On the back side, you push in this little slot, and the front or the side cover just slides off. There's no screws with that part. So I'm going to pull this computer out in a few minutes and get it cleaned up, and then I'm going to install this. So right here I've got some thermal paste for the processor. I do have to pull the power supply out to get to the processor. But I'm going to clean up the processor and apply new thermal paste. Then I'm going to install the CF card to IDE expansion slot adapter, so I can, and it's going to be in one of the back slots of the computer. This computer, unfortunately, I believe the slots are knockout tabs, but one of the knockout slots is already knocked out, so I'm just going to install it in that spare slot. And it does not connect into the PCI on the computer. It connects through IDE, as you can see right here. And I believe by default, the jumper setting is set to master, so it will boot from this drive. I do plan on leaving the original, or not the original, but I'm going to leave the actual hard drive in the computer, but it's going to be disconnected because, you know, just in case I ever want to recover the data on that hard drive, because I'm going to be doing a clean install of everything. And I have all the original factory CDs and paperwork for this computer. I'll show that to you when I actually go to reinstall everything. So, yep, like I said, I got this card here. I'm going to get that installed. And then also, this was delayed in shipping, but this is my 8 gigabyte. Sorry, it's kind of blurry. This is my 8 gigabyte Transcend compact flash card. And this is also brand new. It just didn't have the original packaging, but the seller claimed it was brand new still. I got this all for a good deal. This was originally $40. I got this, I think, for about $27-ish, maybe $30. I can't remember the exact pricing. And then, of course, the card. So I think all these two together was about $40 to $50-ish with shipping, tax, and everything. So I got that for a good deal. And then I got the thermal paste for like $7 or $8. It was on clearance on Amazon, or I don't know if it was Amazon clearance or what, but I got it on Amazon for a really good deal. It showed it was marked down from $39.99 down to like $7. I'd never seen a deal like that before, but it was Amazon Prime. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that was the original price. I remember seeing like a little scratch out price and then the $7-something one. So I ended up jumping on that. It was a great deal. So let me get this computer pulled out and we'll start working on it right now. Yeah, I just pulled this computer out. Here's a closer look at it. It's just a little dusty on top, but it's relatively clean, except for the panel is a little loose because I already took it off to look at the inside. I don't have it fully snapped back on. But yeah, here's the front, the cover. Still think that's cool. At least I loved that when I was a kid. You don't really see the side too much. I don't think I've ever showed it in my video yet, but this is the back side of the computer. You've got your power connector, and then you've got connections back here. You've got connections for the keyboard, mouse. You got 2 USB ports. You got a video out. It's the old RCA connector. And then you've got printer connector, VGA, and the rest of your inputs. Also down here we got a modem card for the dial-up modem. And then you see there's a empty slot plate right here. And that's where I plan on putting the compact flash card adapter piece, because you can see these are knockout tabs. You can't like screw those back in once they're knocked out. So that's unfortunate with this case style, but there must have been another card in here at one point. But I'm going to use that spare slot, so I'm going to fill it in finally, because that's been driving me nuts since I got this computer. So I'm going to lay this computer on its side and I'm going to open it up. Okay, I now have the side cover off so you can see the side a little bit better on the computer. As you can see down here on that empty slot right there, that's where I'm going to put the card. But first I want to do a little bit of dusting. Here's a tiny bit dusty. You can see the hard drive is still in here. I'm going to I'm going to leave it screwed into the case, and then I'm just going to run the IDE cable and the power cord over to that location because it's so close I can do that right away. But first, I have to take this power supply out because I want to replace the thermal paste. And in order to do that, I got to take this back cover off of the case. It's really easy. You just push in these little tabs, and this whole back panel comes right off the computer. So now I can easily remove the power supply. And also I have to undo these little screws that hold these little cards into place right here. So I gotta take these screws off, this back panel comes off, and I can stick the new card in. But first I'm gonna get this power supply removed, which is super easy. I just gotta remove that little screw right there and a couple little screws on the back side of the power supply. But now I should be able to get this power supply out so I can clean the processor and replace the thermal paste. Okay, I was able to get the screws removed, so it's pretty easy. You just grab the power supply and you kind of lift up and pull out at an angle. And you can see there's a pretty hefty fan there, and that's for helping with the cooling of the processor. And I also installed this little fan that screws into the case right there. And I kind of have it installed underneath, and the fan kind of moved, but I kind of angle it on the processor to keep it extra cool, because I don't think this fan was enough at the time. But I'm just going to grab my compressed air really quick and clean it up a little bit in here, because it's really kind of gross in this area. Might have to wipe that with some paper towel. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this processor heatsink off, and then I'm going to clean it up with some rubbing alcohol. If you do this type of work with computers, you want to use 91% alcohol or higher, because it does contain water. Anything that's not alcohol is considered water. So like the other 9% is water, but usually it's distilled water. So it's usually not going to cause any type of corrosion or not, but you never want to chance it with computers, especially vintage ones like this that you can't get parts for anymore. So I was able to get the little pins off. I did it off camera because, you know, no sense in watching me struggle while holding a camera. So I just have to grab it now and kind of like give it a twist and pull. And right there, that's the old thermal paste. The thermal paste doesn't look too bad on it, but I'm still going to replace it. And you can see right there on the chip, it's pretty, it needs to be cleaned up. So I'm going to go ahead and get some cotton and some rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to get this cleaned up. But I'll do this off camera. So I was able to get the processor all cleaned off now, and I also got the heatsink all cleaned off too. But for some reason, this thing is kind of a little bit loose, and there seems to be thermal paste underneath this. I've never seen that before. So I cleaned as best I can. I'm going to do one more wiping of it because it's still slightly dirty. You can see it on camera now. And I'm going to reapply thermal paste. And as you can see, I got the thermal paste already. You know, you don't really need a huge amount on there. You just want to put a little bit on there to cover it, and then once it's on there, you'll smush it between the two, the heatsink and the actual processor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now off camera. And if anybody knows anything about that heatsink, please let me know, because I've never seen it with vintage computers, that this little piece is like kind of separate and it moves around. I've never seen that before, so I might have to replace the heatsink. I don't know. Somebody please let me know. Okay, I'm back now. I was able to get the thermal paste applied. I got the heatsink back on and the power supply reinserted. I'll have to adjust my extra little fan once I get everything put back together, but I did run into a little issue with that thermal paste. It seemed to be kind of really thick, and it didn't seem as wet, or it seemed kind of dry almost like a gel paste. So I'm kind of concerned on that. We might have to do this repair again for the thermal paste. But I'm a little worried about that heatsink as well, because like I said, that little piece of metal that's attached to the heatsink it kind of moved around a lot, so I was a little worried about that. So I might have to get a new heatsink. So I went ahead and put the power supply back in, and I removed this little tiny metal piece, and that's what holds the cards in these slots here. So I go and got the card ready. It's nice that it came with a power cord. I kind of wish I would have known that ahead of time, because I figured it wouldn't come with one, especially because, you know, I bought it on eBay, so I was a little worried that it wouldn't come with the expected power cord. So my amazing girlfriend bought me a Molex connector that will convert it to the floppy style power connector. So I'm going to use the one my girlfriend got me. I'll keep the other one as a spare. So we're going to grab this card. We're going to want to get it lined up where it's supposed to go. And it's going to go in this spare slot right here. So pardon me while I get this card in. It appears to be conflicting with something in here.
There we go. Let's double check and make sure it's not hitting anything. It's lining up with that PCI slot right there, so I think that's what the issue is. But it fits in there, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and get this mounting bracket put back on. I'm going to cut that off the video because you don't want to watch me struggle on a video. Okay, so I was able to get the card successfully installed right here, as you can see. I was also able to connect the Molex to floppy converter cord right here, and I also disconnected the hard drive, and I got the other power cord all ready to connect. I was able to kind of wiggle that extra fan in there. I'm going to take that out in the future. I think once I get the processor cooling situation figured out, I'm going to remove that little fan. I also want to do a good dusting before I put this thing fully back together. You can see now I'm able to insert my card right in the back of the computer so I can do hot swapping between different CF cards. I might do a Windows 3.1 install on a separate card so I can switch between the two operating systems. Now I am going to leave the original hard drive in here, and I really want to clone this hard drive and put all the data on the CF card, but I don't have a way of cloning this drive right now, so I'm just going to use the Sony Vaio Restore CD. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cords reconnected off camera. I will get a tripod in the future so I can show some of this work, but if you guys know about computers, you don't really need to know how to do these steps because they're quite simple. Successfully got the new CF card adapter fully installed right now. I'll have to double check the jumper settings, but as far as I know, it's in master mode right now, and the hard drive is always the master most of the time. Sometimes the CD drive is, but I believe that the hard drive is master. I have to check in the BIOS when I go to boot this up, it'll tell me. So fingers crossed this will work with this computer. If not, I do plan on acquiring another vintage computer soon, so I will use it for that if it doesn't work, and I'm 90% sure this is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and get this card put in really quick. As you can see, I have it ready to go, and it should go right on in. And there it is. I can push this little button to take it out, and I can put it into my main desktop computer in my bedroom to back it up and put software on it if I need to. So fingers crossed this will work. So I'm going to go and get this computer blown out a little more with dust, and then I'm going to put it back together, and I will show you all the first boot up. Okay, I got the computer all put together now, and I'm just going to show you the card slot now. It's pretty nice. I love that I can easily take this card in and out. It's just as simple as pushing this button and taking the card out, and then I can just reinsert it anytime. I might get a couple extra of these flash cards if this ends up working out. So I can do different operating systems. I might do Windows 3.1, Windows 98. Might do a couple different operating systems to play around with. And it all depends if this works, and I really hope it does. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this computer dusted off, and then I'm going to get it back in its home location, and we'll do the first boot up. Okay, now everything is reconnected down here. I got the computer back in its home location. Now we're about to do the first boot up of the computer. Let's take a look and see if it works. Gotta love that classic CRT sound. Tower didn't turn on. It's so weird not hearing the hard drive spinning right now. We got activity light on the hard drive, so that's a good sign. And it shouldn't detect any operating system. Yep, it's just freezing on the OS load in progress. So we're gonna go ahead and shut the tower off, and we'll boot into the BIOS mode. Gotta love that classic Sony Vaio sound. I believe it's F3. And yep, it says transit. So it has detected that as the main hard drive now. Whoops. Don't know why it's doing that. Let's try that again. Got a little bit of dirt on the monitor to clean up. I don't use this computer too often. Oops, F3. F1, there we go. So distracted recording, I can't even read.
There we go. And if you look right now, the primary master is the Transcend card. So that means we're in pretty good luck, or pretty good shape to get this going. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this for a moment while I grab all the software for this computer. Just wanted to quickly show this to you before we begin the installation. I was very lucky enough when I got this computer from the original owner that she had all the original software. It's in pretty rough shape, but the user guides and manuals are all here. So this computer has absolutely everything it came with when it was brand new. And also I even have the rest for the keyboard, but I took it off because when I was a little kid, we only had it on there for a short period anyway. But here's the main software pack for this computer. And this was the original front sticker that was on it when I first got it. That was still on it. That's on the front cover of this, but that's not on the sticker. It shows you how to operate the front sticker. And you can see right here, I have the recovery CD. So we're gonna go and grab out the recovery CD. I should probably make a copy of this just in case. Have a game in there right now. Get that to the side. Pop the recovery CD in, and we're gonna reboot this computer. Hold on while I reboot this. And I believe I have to press F3 to boot from the CD drive. I can't remember. There we go, boot menu. Now it says starting Windows 95. There we go. Looks like we're booting from the drive now. There we go. Now I will probably show 90% of this in this video, but I will speed it up so you don't get too bored. Let's see. We're going to do a complete recovery. And we're going to format the hard drive as well. Now, Sony Vaios were very similar to Packard Bell. They really put a lot of thought into their software packs. And actually, Sony Vaios have a very similar feature that Packard Bells have. They have a thing called Vaio Space. It was kind of mimicking the Packard Bell Navigator. And I just, oops, I guess I got to read this. Yes, I do want to format. There we go. It's formatting the new hard drive. But yeah, they were their Vaio Space was, I think, to compete with Navigator. Now I don't know who had it first. I'm assuming Packard Bell did because I don't really see any older versions of Vaio Space besides Windows 95. And I believe 3.1, Windows 3.1, Packard Bell had their Navigator product. So I believe they had it before Sony. Sorry about the screen scanning. So hopefully this fixes my issues that I was having with the computer freezing. I think it was either the processor overheating or if it was an issue with the hard drive. But I replaced the thermal paste when I first got this computer and the hard drive, and it seemed to have corrected the issue, but the issue has come back. So I hope it's not serious because I love this computer. It was super hard to find it, but it can't really be too much, too big. It's either got to be the hard drive, processor, or motherboard, or RAM, but I doubt it's the memory because I took a look at it and it looks like it's brand new and there doesn't appear to be any corrosion on it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you never know. Looks are deceiving. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the video at this point, and I will come back once we get more progress. Okay, unfortunately, we're going to have to do a part 2 to this video. I ran into some technical issues, and I'm going to have to do some troubleshooting to figure out all the issues. The main issue is that when I first got this computer, because my original childhood one was given away to a family member, and then they disposed of it, so I was able to get this one off of Craigslist a few years ago. Actually, more than a few years ago, back in 2011, so it's been quite a while. When I first got this computer, it had a small issue. When I would get to the Sony, I'm sorry, not the Sony, but the Windows 95 login screen, the computer would just lock up. So I did a clean install and that somewhat fixed it. The computer would just lock up randomly. I was still having the issue, but it wouldn't happen the second I booted into Windows 95 like it originally did. But then it started to get worse again. So what I did is I ended up replacing the hard drive and I replaced the thermal paste on the CPU, and that seemed to have fixed the issue for several years. But right before I decided to do the CF card upgrade as a hard drive, the computer started to do that lockup again. I was like, oh, it might just be a bad hard drive. So that's why I decided to do this upgrade. And when I put the new CF card in, I popped in the Windows 95, I'm sorry, the Sony Vaio recovery CD, and then it would just go through the recovery process and it would just freeze up and it would like stop copying files. So my troubleshooting step is to replace the CD drive. I'm very sad by this because as you can see, the one in here is gray. It matches the computer. I was able to find the same model CD drive. It's a Hitachi brand. I forgot the model number. I think it's like 8030 or something like that. It's got some other letters involved with it, but I ordered a new one and I'm gonna see if that will let me install the recovery CD on the new hard drive. But the weird thing is I transplanted another CD drive in here and I was able to put Windows 98 on this computer, the new CF card. It seemed to install. It was working fine until like something happened and ended up being the blue screen of death. So what I'm going to do is I was going to use that CD, that drive that I was able to do the Windows 98 installation, but the recovery CD for Sony Vaio requires the drivers for that specific model CD drive. So I unfortunately have to use the exact model and make CD drive. So I ordered another one. It's dark black. It does end up working. I will have to temporarily install it in there until I can find another dark gray one. But I don't know. I just hope I can get this computer working. If anybody has troubleshooting steps, please let me know because I'm devastated. I don't think there's anything wrong with the motherboard. I looked at it. It doesn't have, you know how capacitors, when they go bad, they bulge? Well, this computer's motherboard does not have that style of capacitors where they bulge. It's like they're all chips. There's a 0 of those capacitors on their motherboard. So I'm hoping it's not the motherboard. I'm going to keep troubleshooting. I'm going to replace the CD drive and try to rerun the recovery CD and see if it will install on the CF card. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try swapping out different RAM. I'm going to try a different processor, try a different power supply. I'm going to try everything but the motherboard because the motherboard is not replaceable. Well, if anybody has any suggestions, let me know. I will be getting the new CD drive, and if that does work, I'll post a part 3. Thank you so much, and please provide me help if anybody knows a solution to fix this. I don't know what is wrong with it. I'm hoping it's a combination of two things. Like I mentioned, I think it's a combination of the old hard drive in there being bad, and I think it's the CD drive because this computer was working great, and then it recently started locking up again. Like I said, when it boots up and the Windows 95 login screen comes up, and if I just walk away and let it sit, the computer will lock up and I will have to force reset it. All I have to do is hit the power button once and it shuts off immediately. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the hard drive is just going bad and that's why it's freezing or what. And also sometimes when I'm running heavy applications and if I am able to get past the Windows 95 login screen, the computer again will just lock up. Well, like I said, if you guys have any suggestions, please send me a message or put it in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and post this. Just keep an eye out for part 2 if I get this figured out. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.